So finally we have the last part of the expansion, which is the neutral class. So we'll start off with its legendary, Zeus, which is a 10 cost 5/10. Once again, its stats are not the strongest, but he has 3 skills: Storm, Bane, and Ward. So if we analyze this, Storm, a 5/10 Storm is not exactly the strongest, but it can work because 5 damage may be more than enough to kill your enemy. He also has Ward. A 5/10 Ward is definitely very strong because he has 10 health. Duh. And couple that together with Bane, he is not only a force removal with the Storm Bane combination, he is also a very sturdy protector with a Ward and 10 health. And finally, he also has a very annoying. He's also a very annoying Ward. Simply, he has because he's Ward Bane, so anything that trades into him will die. So they can't really trade into this thing efficiently. So of course, most of the time, if you play him, he'll get removed by a force removal spell. So just be careful. But other than that, I think he's a pretty great legendary. And following that, we have a 9 cost 8/8. Not bad stat-wise, Israfil. Her skill is Fanfare, restore 4 defense to your leader, so another card that helps survivability. And her skill, her second part, is whenever this follower attacks, deal 2 damage to all enemies. So it's kind of like the card Flame and Glass, just that Flame and Glass is much more overpowered because it deals 7 damage to all enemies when it attacks. Israfil, she deals 2 damage, which is actually pretty decent. It's just a small widespread damage shower to your opponent, which might be enough to kill most followers that are already damaged. And furthermore, she's a 8/8, so she trades pretty well, and her skill helps you survive because she restores 4 health. So generally, I think both of these legendaries are very good and can be played in majority of late game decks. They're not really like very special, as in they don't have any unique skills, but just based on their effects alone, I think they're gonna be very strong and useful. Following that, we have 8 cost 6/6 of Shock Olga. Fanfare, deal 3 damage to an enemy, and Evolve, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So a thing to note is he does not get the +2/+2 stats, so he even after you evolve him, he'll still be 6/6. But I think his skill is pretty useful. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. This can be the face, or this can be a follower. It depends on why you play him. And on his evolve, you deal 3 damage to an enemy. It's kind of very strong in terms of a tempo play, because if you play him, you can deal 3 damage to an enemy. You evolve him, he gets to attack immediately, and he does another 3 damage. So he really can clear the board if in the right scenario. So I think he's got to be very strong, but whether you want to put him in decks is up to you, because currently the deck space in a lot of these late game decks might be quite tight. So whether you want to play him or not is really up to your preference, but generally I think he's a pretty good card as well. Moving on, we have a 7 cost 4/5. Pretty bad stat-wise, but we'll see. Ariad, Soothing Harpist. Her skill is fully restore the defense of an allied follower that has attacked this turn. Give it the ability to attack 1 more time. So I'm not so much interested into her fully restore the defense of an allied follower that has attacked this turn. It's just a heal to full health, which is fine, I guess. But her second part of her skill, which is give it the ability to attack 1 more time, is very, very interesting, because with this, it's much easier to set up an OTK combo. You play something like Bahamut, your opponent doesn't clear it, Bahamut hits once to face, play her, Bahamut attacks the second time, and that's GG. So of course her healing of the follower does help the follower survive and can help it in trading, I guess, but I think her more valuable part of the ability will be to allow another follower to attack 1 more time. This can also apply to just maybe you want a clash effect to go off twice. So it's definitely a very versatile card, and probably will be used in quite a few OTK combos. So moving on, we have Grimnir, Wall Cyclone. Her skill, she's well, her stats, she's a 3-cost 2/3, so pretty generic. She has Ward and Enhanced 10, deal 1 damage to all enemy 4 times. So basically she is, assuming this 1 damage to all enemy 4 times doesn't really matter in how you do it. She's basically a deal 4 damage to all enemies, and on Enhanced 10 with Ward. I can see her being quite useful. As a early game drop, she's fine, and as a late game just damage all over the board, she's pretty good as well. So yeah, generally I think she can be played in most decks. That's what neutral cards are for, I guess, to be played in all decks. On a side note, I'm interested to see whether you can build a pure neutral deck, because I know they tried to do something like this in the Rise of Bahamut expansion, but I didn't really see a lot of people play it. So maybe after this expansion we can build a pure neutral deck and have it work out. Following that, we have a very weak stat card, Goblin Princess, a 5-cost 2/1. Her fanfare summons 2 goblins. So and her last words is put a Goblin King into your hand. So goblins are, well, they don't show you. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. I know what goblins are. Goblins are 1/2 followers. So assuming she summons 2 of them, which she does, you get 4/5 worth of stats, I believe. Yes, 4/5 worth of stats, which is not bad. But her last words gives you a Goblin King, which is here. It's a 4-cost 5/5 with Ward. So basically, in the long run, she gives you around 9-10 worth of stats, which is a lot for a 5-cost card. And furthermore, 5/5 of that 9-10 stats will have Ward, which helps you survive. So definitely a very good card for generating resources, and as well as just a good mid-range card to fill up the board, because it does summon 2 other goblins just to fill up the board. So moving on, we have Impartial Strix. I think that's why it's pronounced as Strix. It's a 4-cost 3/3. Its skill is fanfare, gain +2/+2 if you have at least 20 neutral cards remaining in your deck. Now, generally I feel this card is okay, but that's about it, because firstly, he's a 4-cost 3/3, his stats is already slightly underrated. If you play him as when you still have 20 neutral cards remaining, you get the bonus of him being 5/5, but that's just 1 extra stat that I don't think matters that much. But my worry is in the late game, after, it doesn't even have to be 20 neutral cards. Your deck can can have a pure neutral deck, and you only have 19 cards left in your deck. His skill won't proc off, so I'm worried that in the late game, he'll just be too non-reliant, I guess. Too weak to play in the late game, so I'm not so sure how I feel about him. Yeah, I don't think he's that good. Maybe in a pure neutral deck he still might be playable from 1 to 2 copies, but in I think in decks, if you play a lot of class cards, specific class cards in your deck, definitely do not put him in. Next, we have a 3-cost Amulet, Frozen Mammoth. When you play a follower that costs at least 7 play points, destroy this amulet and summon an Imperial Mammoth. I believe an Imperial Mammoth is a 6/7 vanilla, if I'm not wrong. So you basically play this, and then after that you wait a few turns, and then if you play something with at least 7 play points, this summons an Imperial Mammoth. So it's kind of like an investment. You play this card in the early game and it does nothing until the late game where you play something that's expensive and it gives you benefits of a 6/7 follower. Interestingly enough, I have heard reports that this card actually works with a spell boosted Daria Dimension Witch, which means if you do play Daria at 0, it still procs off because Daria's original cost is 9. So I'm interested to see whether this can be put in Temple Runecraft and have it proc off, and whether it will be playable. So just a little side note, it's an interesting card, but I'm not sure how well it will work out in decks. Following that, we have Wandering Bard Elta. He's a 2-cost 2/2 generic and no normal skill, so he's a 2-cost 2/2 vanilla. On evolve, he becomes a 2-cost 3/3, so he gets -1/1/1 in terms of stats, but his skill is on evolve, followers and amulets fanfare, necromancy, enhance, and earthright's ability that activate upon being played from hand will not activate, and this lasts until this follower leaves the area. So basically speaking, if your opponent does not kill him, your opponent cannot play anything with your opponent can still play things with fanfare, necromancy, enhance, but their effects won't activate. So every single card with fanfare, necromancy, enhance, and earthright becomes a vanilla card. So even though it's a very interesting effect, of course, to your opponent will get cucked by this effect a lot, I don't think it's justifiable to take his stats down by 1, and of course, since it's only a 3/3 follower, it'll probably get removed very quickly, so I don't think it's justifiable to play him, because even after you evolve, it just takes another 2 mana to kill him, and you'll be wasting an evolve orb as well. So I don't think running him is very applicable for any deck in that matter. So moving on, we have 3-cost 2/3 X Fighter, enhance 6, gain +3/+3. So if you play him on 6 costs, you get a 5/6. It's okay, I guess, just okay. There are better 3-drops for every class, so I don't really think much of him. Next, we have a 3-cost Amulet, Test of Strength. Countdown 2. Leaders cannot be attacked if there is a follower that can be attacked in their area. So basically, if you play this card, both of your and your opponent's leader are both affected by this skill, where your opponent has to have an empty board, then you can attack your leader's face. If your opponent has a follower that can be attacked, which means this effect excludes things from Dragoncraft that cannot be attacked or cannot be targeted. The enemy leader cannot be attacked, which means if you combo this card together with Heavenly Aegis, your opponent has to attack Heavenly Aegis your opponent has to destroy Heavenly Aegis before you can get through to the opponent's leader's face. The problem with that is that trading into Heavenly Aegis wouldn't do anything. So I'm interested to see whether someone can make a deck with that. And also, if you exclude Heavenly Aegis out of the equation, it just becomes a game where for 2 turns, both you and your opponent will fight purely for board. There will be no face damage from followers for 2 turns. So yeah, it stalls for time for 2 turns, but if you still lose on the board after this amulet's gone, you still lose out anyway. So play this amulet and try to win the fight for the board. Yeah, that's about it really. So next we have a 2-cost 2/1 Owl Cat. Skill is Clash. Destroy the enemy follower if its attack is 1. It is very specific here. Destroy the enemy follower if its attack is 1. So if its attack is 0, this card does not do anything. So I'm not really sure why you would run this card, because there are little enough followers that have 1 attack, and much less with the new expansion and everybody pretty much playing more late game. So I'm not sure why you would run this card, but it's here, so yeah. Pretty bad card in my opinion, but maybe it'll find some usefulness in the future. So following that we have Wise Merman. So he's a 1-cost 1/1 generic. Fanfare, give +1/+0 to an allied follower. So he's basically a 1-cost 2/1, which is pretty good. And he just gives an allied follower 1 more damage, a allied neutral follower, sorry, 1 more damage. And it can be used for trading, it can be used for hitting face. It's okay, it's not a bad card. And yep, that's gonna be it for neutral class. So overall thoughts on this expansion. I think this new expansion is good, as in it changes the meta a lot from early game to more mid game and late game, and also because it introduces a lot of not new mechanics, there are no new keywords, but it introduces a lot of new playing styles, which is one thing I like a lot in Shadowverse. It's very diverse. It's not just, oh, fight for tempo on the board, and then if you lose it on tempo on the board, you lose. There are things like Earthright, where you can have a turnaround in the middle of the game. The games are always very unpredictable. That's what I like so much about Shadowverse. So this will end my review for all the cards of, well, all the cards that are shown here of the Tempest of the Gods expansion. Keep playing Shadowverse, and see you next time.